Hi friends, Cole Chance, YOGATX. Thank you all for joining me. And today I want to do some things for your hips. So I've had some comments and some requests for some hip openers. So I'm just gonna do a few poses here instead of like a full flow. So you can just, have these poses in the back of your head if you come home and know that you need to do them. And you can whip them out wherever you are. So let's just go ahead and start in Baddha Konasana. You can sit up on something if you'd like, a pillow or a block to lift the hips a little bit up over the knees. But if this feels okay for you, you can sit here too. And soles of the feet together, knees wide. I'm gonna bring the hands on in front of the ankles. Pull back, pull the chest forward, and flutter the legs like a butterfly. Start to bow forward here. If you have a block, which I hope that you do, if you don't, you should get one. You can put it between the feet. Place the head on it. Maybe you have two blocks, or maybe you stack the hands here. Just a slow release, opening up. The deeper that you breathe, the deeper you can get into the stretch. So when you come up against something that's uncomfortable, the body wants to go into fight or flight because you start to shallow breathe. So whenever you're in a stretch, if you can deeply breathe, then it tells the body that to relax, essentially, which is what we're going for. We want to relax, open the muscles. Let's go ahead and come up here, and let's take Gomukhasana. So I'm going to take the left knee coming forward, and I'm going to take the right knee over, pick the hips up. So the knees are on, right knee is on top of left knee. Take the block or the bolster underneath. You don't have to have it. You can just wiggle your hips right down in between. Should have a foot on each side, and you can just sway side to side. I like to take the thumbs onto the arches of the feet. This feels really good, especially when the hips are feeling really good as well, but in a good hurt style. So you're looking for the edge. You don't want to go over it. If you notice that you can't fully inhale and exhale, then you need to back off. You want full freedom of breath. So close the eyes and go inside the body. See if you can imagine sending breath to the sensation. Sending oxygen down to the hips. Sending some love down to the hips. Good. Let's come forward. You can unwind the legs and we'll switch sides. So left knee is on top, right knee is on the bottom. So block or no block. One side is normally not, will be looser than the other side. Notice if you say bad side. I've been trying to stop myself saying that. I say that my right side is my bad side, is my BAD side, but it's the side that needs more love. But so where I'm going at with that is that you might need a block on one side, or it might be quite a bit more intense on one side, and it's completely normal that we're human and we're not even, just how it goes. So if you did the feet, gave the feet some love on the other side, you can do the same here, or you can just sit tall, or you can even bow forward if you'd like to as well, something more intense to pick it up a notch. And start to expand the breath. And turn the corners of your mouth upward. Your body's happy you're giving it some attention. And this time let's roll back. So this is another way to get into it. We could have just went that way as well and came forward, but anyway, you can go either way. So let's take a pigeon pose on each side. So I'm going to go to the left side first, left side in front. So before I do anything, I'm going to bring my leg, mine normally goes about 45 degrees. You would like to go towards parallel, but anyway, you want the knee farther out than the hip is kind of the rule of thumb, yeah? So I'm up on the hands, you can sway side to side. Look at the back foot, make sure it's not sickling. I kind of want it straight back. And I'm going to pull forward, drag forward my right hip. Pull back on the left hip. Find some buoyancy. You might need a block underneath the left hip. That might, it doesn't need to touch the ground, but it might feel better if you have a block underneath there, more supported. Pulling the belly in, and again, scissoring the thighs. Left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale here. And then exhale, start to come forward. Come down to the elbows. You might be able to come down and put your forehead on the ground. I really like to have a block handy and release my head. You can also take the head in the hands. The head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds, depending on your ego. And it's just good to relax it, especially when we're working on a deep hip opener. Your body needs to, you want everything kind of focused on opening the hips and not holding the head up and creating more tension here. So if you can release that noggin, go ahead and let it go. And again, check in with the hips. So you can imagine the hip points on the front side of the body. You want those even. So I'm here pulling again, pulling back on the left hip and sinking in. If you want a little bit more, I'll show you. You might be saying, oh no. Some days I don't want anything to do with this, and some days I do. So I'm going to take my right hand up and out a little bit. So I'm going to create a little triangle here, and my left hand, I'm going to sink it through. Just getting some extra weight. Two more rounds of breath. Start to come up, bringing the weight into the hands. Take a round of breath up, tall again. Gaze up, chest forward. And then roll onto the left hip, and let's come into center and take Baddha Konasana again. Soles of the feet together. Grab the ankles. Pull the chest through, gaze up. And then exhale this time, let's round the back. Sink back, bring belly to spine. And then inhale, come up. Let's switch over to pigeon on the right side. I'm just going to kind of roll over here. Shoot the left leg back. Bring the right leg forward. So one thing I like to do with the back foot, I should have showed you this on the other side, is you can tuck the back toes, scoot the knee back. Tuck the back toes, scoot the knee back. You see that moving? So I'm starting tall, pulling back on the right hip. Pulling forward on the left hip. So scissoring the thighs together, opposite action. Always pulling back on the front, forward on the back. Finding some buoyancy here. This is my hip that needs more love, that wants more love. Knowing that it's completely normal to be unique on each side. So staying here, or you could start to come down. Notice if you lose the squareness of the hips and come back to that, that's the most important. Relaxing the head somewhere. Again, checking in with the hips, maybe pulling back a little bit. I can really tell that really kicks up the sensation when I pull back on the right hip. It's a good habit to get in of flexing this front foot, the bent leg foot. It protects the knee. Using the body weight to send the hips low. A slow release. So just giving it time to open. Two more rounds of breath. And we'll start to come into the hands. Rock onto the right hip, and we'll come back to center. And now I have a special treat for you. So let's take the left leg, take the right leg long. Let's take the left leg, bend the knee, and bring it up into the chest. I'm going to wrap my arm around here. Place the left hand down on the ground, maybe the left elbow, and I'm just going to rock on the hip. So you're kind of massaging the glute here. The glute, the hip. Maybe you bring this foot up, whatever feels. This leg is just kind of for support, but just rock and roll. Maybe you can kind of come up and down and find some of those little juicy points in there. There's plenty of them in my body, anyway. Also, if you have a tennis ball or something, you can kick it up a notch by inserting one of those here. Let's switch sides. Sending the left leg long, right leg in. Even more over here. And just rocking. And maybe coming down to the elbow. Someone, one of your family walks in right now wondering, what are you doing? Just have them lay down and join you. Ooh. Yeah, so when you find a spot, you can just stay on it, send oxygen, send breath right there to that area. And then release. Let's come back again to Baddha Konasana one last time. Inhale, pull the chest through. Gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Head finds block or hands. If you have a block, you can even put the block in between. That can, it's another way to start to open the hips. You can even change the height. 3 rounds of breath. Let's go in the nose and out the lips. So inhale. Out the mouth. Drink it in. Release. Drink it in. And out. Start to come up. Shake the legs out. Well, I hope that some or all of those found some benefit in your body. Let me know questions or comments, and we love your requests. So please, keep them coming. We're doing this for you, so make sure that we're getting you what you need. Again, Cole Chance at YOGATX, sending love to you and your hips. Namaste.